Hello everyone, and uh, thank you for joining today's stream. And today we are going to explore so many things about different topics that we are going to discuss today. And probably this is the last offline event from our GDSC, and our college is going to reopen so that the next events which we are going to have, those events will be in offline mode. So make sure to like this stream and obviously stay tuned for the upcoming offline events, because we are having so many cool and exciting events for all of you. We are going to have our Flutter festival. That means you are going to learn Flutter with us in the upcoming events, and that will be completely offline. So yeah, I hope like you all will attend in those offline events which we are going to conduct in our college. So yep, and we are not going to waste any more time of your, and we are going to directly jump into today's topic. So today's topic will be based on no code tech careers. So we all know that there are few things like we do code, we do competitive coding, we do development and this kind of. But there are few other roles which are not which are not like SD or a full stack developer, that kind of thing. But these roles are also important, and it is not like you won't get any money, you won't earn anything if you choose these tracks. So today we are going to see what are those tracks and how you can make your career on based on those tracks. So today we are going to explore few things that I want to mention. That means UI UX designing, data analyst, system admin, SEO, SEM, product management, technical writing, no code app development, as well as data visualization and reporting. So these are a few things that we are going to explore today, and these will be completely you can say low code or no code. So yeah, you can obviously check out those things. And and for today's speaker we have Suvojit Manna with us. He's the senior AI engineer at Skin. And one fun fact is that he's also our alumni for college from college. So I want to welcome Shubhajit Bhaiya
Yeah.
to the stream. Yeah,
Hello.
hello.
Hey, Nila.
So
Yeah.
yeah, how are you, Bhaiya?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Uh,
Yes. So I think our audience is also quite excited to learn something new from you. And
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah, let us directly jump into today's agenda. So I am going to hand over the whole thing to you. And
Sure. Hey, everyone. So, firstly, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Suvojit Manna. I was an alumni in JGC. I graduated in 2018. That was where I got interested in AI, and first I pursued it academically. I was in research, and then I got interested in industrial applications of AI. So I pursued a career in data science and AI. And after that, I joined Kioskin, where I've been a data scientist since, and now I'm leading the AI efforts at Kioskin. So, what was my reasoning behind doing tech careers like without code or no code tech careers? So, we know that this software engineering is a like mainstream of when it comes to tech careers. Like when you think of tech careers, you think like doing software development, doing full stack development, or doing data science. But there is this unexplored part that is not much talked about, that holds this whole tech ecosystem and binds it together. Like there is content, there's UI UX, like how the app feels, and the business side of things where data analysis and sales and all this part comes in. Those are also part of making a tech company, and that's why I wanted to do this stream to explore uh, those careers which is not much talk about when you will be doing probably computer science engineering or something. So we'll be going through seven, and one of those is like personal favorite of mine. I've kept it for last. Is no code app development. it's relatively a newer field and very upcoming. And if you want, like, you'll have to wait till the end of the stream to get a sneak peek at it. uh, so yeah, let's get started with the stream. So for UI UX, what does UI UX do? UI UX designer, they're responsible for how the app feels, right? So whenever an user is when the user is using an app, it has to feel intuitive. You can't put like 10 input boxes in there. You can't put uh, like buttons in places where they can't reach. So as an UI UX designer, your job would be to make using that app easier for them, right? So let's look into some key responsibilities of what you would be expected to do as an UI UX designer. First thing would be like consulting with clients or users who will be using your app and understanding like what they're trying to use your apps. Like if you're thinking about Facebook, so in Facebook I should be able to see my friends content, what they're posting on my wall, what they're doing, and stuff like that. And so basically you will have to consult with them, interview them, and try to understand like what they're trying to achieve with your tech or your app, right? And so once you have those once you have those insight into like what they're trying to achieve with your app or what your tech, you come back and explain those results with the internals and external shareholders, basically your tech team, your business team, your product team. So once they have an understanding of like what they're trying to do, they will also put their own insights into it and tell you like how like what ways they want to take the product in, what way they want to take the business in, based on those insights. So uh, through that you create this personas or usage scenarios that your users will be going through. Like if you think about Instagram, one user scenario in that is reels, right? And if you look into like how they have put reels in the current Instagram app, it is right where the post function used to be. So that is like they now want people to use the reels function more, so they have put it in front and center, so people will be using that more. So that is the persona or user scenario that you're developing, that I want people to use the reels function more in Instagram. So that kind of persona, that kind of user scenario will have to develop. Once that user scenario is developed, you'll have to go into storyboarding and wire mapping. Basically what wire mapping and storyboarding is you create a low fidelity design of how everything will flow together. Like you swipe left and your messaging comes in Instagram, right? And you swipe I guess right, and your story and reels sections comes in. And below you have your explore section, your uh, search section. So all those things you do a low fidelity design, you iterate on it with rest of your product team, with the business team, and try to understand how users are feeling about using those, right? So once you have like those basic usability stuff, you go back to your users and you conduct usability testing. But basically what usability testing is understanding like how users are feeling like while using your app, or the things that you basically designed as a UI UX designer. And so are they able to press the button easily? Are they able to get the job done that they are supposed to get done easily? Like if you look into WhatsApp, uh, their main feature is like messaging, right? So first thing that you open the app is should be messages. It shouldn't be like stories or whatever, like posting photos and other stuff. So that is a thing that you will definitely be responsible for. And product prototypes is basically ties into all that. So if you do all that, it is like creating a product prototype. And also UI UX designer, you will be working with the content team, basically to design content of where your app goes. Like okay, user pictures goes here, or I need writing here that should make the user make the teach to the users how to use these features of the app, right? So that is something you will also do as an UX designer. And the last thing is competitor and customer analysis. Competitor analysis is probably like one of the huge topic that uh, you will be needed to do, because when you are Instagram or when you're building an app, what your competitors are doing, you are definitely trying to do better than them so that you can capture a larger share of the market, right? You want your app to be used more rather than your competitors, so you will be doing competitor analysis and like comparing your app to them and how their user UX or UI is compared to them, and try to understand like if ours is better to use or if there is better to use. So these are main responsibilities you will need. And let's talk about the skills needed for UI UX. Skills is something that you can definitely pick up and practice and learn about. So for UI UX, you will be mainly working with content controls and visual designs. Like you will you will be responsible for how the app feels to users, how easily can users get things done in the app, and also like wherever, if the company is based on a brand, then where the branding is like, if you look at it fits app, their branding is pretty much on the front and center of this, and everything is designed around their branding, right? So that will, you will also be responsible for to reach every part of the app easily for the user. And then you'll have to be empathetic to the user, right? User or your customer, because you'll have to understand what their pain points are while using the app. If they're trying to get something done and they feel like it's very hard to do on your app, they'll probably drop or go use some other app, right? And that so empathy is something you can use while doing your customer interviews. Collaborative is definitely one of the skills. Like you'll have to collaborate with product team, with business team, with dev team on making the whole thing possible, right? And next thing is process organizational, right? So you'll have to organize all those user research, go to your stakeholders, and basically the information you collect will be going through a lot of like a lot of part of the organization. So you will have to keep it like organized, you'll have to keep it in process to make sure that everything is going on like how it should, and it's not going haywire, right? So let's discuss some of the technologies that you may try to learn if you are interested in UI UX design. So starting with Figma is basically for design. You storyboard like how the app will look before you go to HTML or CSS and build this, or for mobile apps you go to Flutter or something and build this. Adobe XD is full UI UX. Like you can build your whole app flow there. You can like do just the UI of the app without the backend code in Adobe XD. UX Paint, Canva, and Illustrator are some things that are that are on this case. Canva is like basically dumbed down version of Photoshop. So yeah, these are some of the things you can pick up if you want to go into the UX UI space. So let's go to the salary part. So the average beginner salary I have seen in the industry is like 6 LPA, and with around 2 years of experience, and if you are working with like some good app devs, if you have some good experience under your bag, you can probably grow up to 15 LPA very fast, right? And depending on how you do it, you can scale it. Okay, so that was it about UI UX. Before we go on to the next section, if you have any question, you can comment, and I try to take 1 or 2 questions. Okay, I think no questions. So okay, let's go to the data analyst part. Data analyst is basically you are you're taking all this data that is coming in from user interaction or your sales, your marketing efforts, right? And you take all those data, you compile them, you go through them, you collect and interpret them and analyze like how it is affecting or how it is affecting your business. So that is the core job of data analysis. But data analysts can be embedded in different teams. So depending on that, your responsibilities may slightly change. Like if you're in the business team, you'll be mostly analyzing like the business part, like sales and revenue and that stuff. If you are in the product team, then we'll be mainly focusing on product metrics. If you are in the if you are in the like other financial teams will be working on analysis of that kind of data. So it is depending on where you are embedded in the company, your definition might change a little, but basically what you are doing is you're taking a lot of data and putting insights out of that, so actionable insights out of that. So let's go to the core responsibilities. Definitely is collecting and interpreting data. How collecting and interpreting data works is like you are different parts of the app or different parts of the tech stack uh, is generating different kind of data, right? And so you will have to take that data and you will have to also take in consideration like where we can tap into our whole thing, our whole organization or our whole company to get more data or get more insight into some part of the process. So once you've collected the data, you will be definitely analyzing the results, and the results will depend on what your stakeholders want. So suppose if your stakeholders are business people like managing directors or something, then they will definitely want like what part, like what marketing effort is working better, or what part of the customer segment is giving us more revenue. And you'll have to take those like numbers, raw data, and provide them relevant feedback. So when I say relevant feedback, it's basically like you will have to talk to people like business people in their business language. You'll have to say like, yeah, sales are down because of this, or sales are up because of this. Because if you say like I don't know, engagement is lower because of this, they will not understand. So the communication becomes a huge play here. Identifying patterns and trends in data set ties into all that. Basically we'll be trying to like if I talk about customer trends, right? Which segment of customer is working better? So like if your company is doing both to consumers and uh, both to like businesses, then probably like is the business side of customers doing better or worse. And working alongside business and management team as they establish, like if we're working with business teams, we will be catering to their needs. And then you'll need to have the ability to talk to both business people as well as engineers. Engineers comes in play like if you're looking into product metrics, or if you want to collect data from certain part of the product stack. And so you'll have to go to the engineers and say like, yeah, put a tracking link here, and so we can collect data, right? And that ties into like new data collection process and analysis process. We'll have to look into like how we can take the data that is already there and analyze it, and which will come into play while making your reports and reporting back to your stakeholders. So let's talk about some skills needed. Mathematics is definitely something that will be needed more on the side of like statistics. So it will be doing statistical analysis of how things are working and how things are going, making on the data and providing key insights. If you are working with business teams, economics is something you can look into. You'll have to pick up some part of how they analyze the economic part of it or the financial part of it. And definitely like writing comprehensive reports. Basically you'll have to write the insights that you find from the data that you analyze into the language which they understand. like if you are reporting to the CEO or the CFO, you'll have to write the reports in on the topics that they are interested in, and you don't definitely want to like put everything there, or how you process the data. uh, Most of them are not really interested in that. Strong verbal and written communication skills is definitely needed, because you will be expected to talk to like engineers and the business people and the marketers, and it's better to it's definitely depends on how you converse with them, or how you can make them understand how you analyze the data, or how what kind of insights you got from that, right? So the better you can tell them, the better it happens, because it happens like you give a wrong analysis, and next thing you see the sales are down and your manager is getting fired. So let's talk about some key technologies where that is used in data analyst. Data analyst is basically you can do the whole thing in Excel also. Power BI and Tableau is for data visualization for on the various parts of the organization, and SQL is something you will be pulling the data from. And data analyst is a sector where you can come in as someone who knows very less coding, and but to scale it, yeah, it's better if you take up some kind of coding like Python or some kind of scripting that will make your job easier, and not necessarily not necessarily the stakeholders job easier. So you can do it in Excel, and some programming languages it will be easier for you, right? Okay, I think we are in the salary part of the section. So data analysts will start at around average at around 5 LPA in bigger companies. Um, yeah, around 5 LPA, and you can scale up to like 11 LPA with 2 3 years of experience. And then for salary for seniors, like if you are leading a team of data analysts, it can start from like 9.6 average to up to 20 LPA with like 7 8 years of experience, right? So definitely a lucrative field if you want to get into that, if you have strong analytical skills, or if you want to pick up strong analytical skills, definitely something that you should look into. uh, if you have some questions, you can type it in the chat, and then we'll go to the next one. Okay, no questions. Okay, so the next one is product managers. Product managers is a pretty interesting one, and it's a field that I'm personally very interested in. So product managers are people who decide the direction of where the product will go, right? If like I took the example of Instagram, and Instagram is now currently focusing on reels more. Like they're trying to get more engagement on the reels. They want more people to use the reels, and probably it was some product manager at Instagram who decided like now we want to go through, now we want to make reels our focus, right? Another thing that is happening with Instagram is they are phasing out IGTV, the longer videos part that was in Instagram. So even that decision is something that is taken by some product managers at Instagram, right? And so what product managers do is they are responsible for building out features. They're responsible for how and what problems of the user that app will solve, what the product will solve. And if you look at it, they are totally responsible for if the product will succeed or if it will fail, right? So let's go into some key responsibilities. Determining the needs of customer in the market. So if you look at the job of product managers, they are looking at what the customers want to do with their app, and what the market has, any similar kind of apps that the market has that are doing the same thing, and they will try to one up that. They will try to make their products better. So they're trying to definitely determine like what the customer needs in the market, what is not there, and then incorporate that in their product. uh, and with that comes like they have to review new product ideas. They'll have to come up with new product ideas. I think, who was it first like that came up with the stories? Probably Instagram. So once Instagram came out with the stories, and they other people saw like there was engagement in the stories, it got embedded in like LinkedIn and WhatsApp and whatnot, and Facebook probably also, and they own all of them. And then you'll have to assess market competition, like uh, which product is working better in this market, so that I can put these features in my product and make it better, right? So if you look at a bigger competition, let me give an example. Like one is like Google Sheet versus Excel. One thing that Google Sheet did better is completely online, and the fact that it's collaborative. And now that Microsoft is saying that Google Sheet is getting like all this engagement, they are trying to shift their model to a cloud model, where you can do it on the cloud, where it is collaborative, where Excel is collaborative. So this is the kind of market assessment you will do. Like, okay, Microsoft, so some product managers at Google probably assess this, like, yeah, Excel is not doing cloud, let's do Excel on cloud, and they come up with the Google Sheet product. So you will definitely be working with the sales team. One main part of building or growing a product is definitely sales. Like you can make a product, very good product with software developers, and it can have an intuitive AI, intuitive UI, or it can have like very good features. But as if you don't go and sell it, you don't have a business. You just have an app, right? So anything that is selling or having a business, or any tech stack that is having a business, definitely has sales involved. And sales has to be done like in innovative ways, where it feels like you are helping people, and you'll actually have to solve people's problem to do sales. And key features of product definitely helps in that. So you'll be doing, and you'll definitely doing analysis with that with the sales team. You'll be definitely doing uh, for sales forecasting, or providing metrics of where you want the product to go, right? So again, let's take the example of Instagram. Like they want people to use reels more. So I'm sure some product managers at Instagram is having a goals of how many people are using reels on a daily basis, like daily average users. It's called DAU, daily average users of reels. And they are trying to scale that, trying different strategies to scale that. And depending on scale, they can also forecast like, okay, in March we got like 2 million people per day using reels. We want it to 1.5 million next month, right? And definitely, after all that job is done, you'll have to compile that into report it to your managers, to your stakeholders, to your CEOs, CFOs, who will definitely give the final talk on that, like where to go with the company, how they're trying to do with the company. And yeah, so product pricing is also another thing that you will be definitely be doing as a product manager. Product manager, how it works is, product pricing, how it works is like, does your product get more value in the market? Is there some competitor product that is doing like better than you, but with a lesser price? Then you'll have to go through a market strategy that is probably at a competitive price point. Like if I have to give an example of competitive pricing, I'll probably give Ola and Uber, or like Flipkart and Amazon. If you look at the same product on Flipkart, and if you look on the same product on Amazon, you will see like as soon as Amazon give offers, uh, Flipkart also gets out with some new offers to make sure that customers are buying, right? And yeah, as I said, like you'll have to provide insights of the market to both your internal team and to your stakeholders. um, and yeah, you'll have to make sure that the product sells and is profitable and you are making money out of the product otherwise it's all for nothing, right? So let's talk about the skills needed for product management. So you'll have to understand the development process. The development process is basically like how the app or features in your tech stack will be developed. You can't, as a product manager, like not understand the development process and be a good product manager. Because if you find that these are the features, suppose 10 features that is needed by the market, you come to your dev team and say like build me these 10 features in 1 month, and the tech team tells you like it will take 6 months to build. You can't ship the product in a month, right? So you will have to understand and have to make sure like you understand like what is the timing, what kind of features will take what time to build, and you'll have to like talk to the development team about building those features. Budgeting is definitely another one. You will have a specific budget for you, like every month, and you'll have to do like marketing, sales, development of that, and development of your product within that budget every month. So some financial budgeting skills are definitely needed. And prioritization basically comes in part of the process, because a lot of users will ask for a lot of things. Like even you as a user look into an app and say like, wow, well, if I had this features it would be great. But product managers are getting probably like thousands of, if not tens of thousands of requests of these features every day. So it has to make sure like what features are profitable, what features the user will like, and it'll have to prioritize on basis on that, right? And let's go about what are some key technologies that will be needed. So product managers is basically a very scrappy kind of job. You'll have to make sure you are uh, only I can say is jugadu, right? You'll have to look into different spaces like search engines for searching your competitors, spreadsheet to do an analysis or whatever you are trying to. If you're trying to do a forecasting, you can do it with spreadsheet. And road mapping tool is basically for process management and trying to understand like how the product roadmap will go over the year or over the quarter or over a month. So that is important. And OKR tools are basically for tracking the metrics. Like I said in the Instagram example, if I have 1 million daily users this month, and I want 1.5 million daily users next month, you will be using OKR tools to track that and make sure your whole team is working towards going through the next metric that you're trying to hit. Let's talk about salaries. So product managers is a very hard job currently, and it can come with fresher salaries of up to 12 LPA if you're doing like if you have some experience with management or something like that. With experience, you can scale up to 16 LPA, and I have seen some product managers in startup space that are earning up to 35 LPA with under 5 years of experience, right? So yeah, that's about the salary. I guess we have some question. Anubhav asked like, can we get into product management without MBA right after BTech? Yeah, if you have some like experience building products or scaling products, you can definitely go right after BTech, right? But if you don't have any experience in product management, it will be harder to build, because management by definition is an experience based field. Like you do it and then you can do it better, right? So if you have just a BTech like degree, I don't think you can get into product management directly, but you'll have to either get an MBA or go through some course. But if you want to like don't if you don't want to do MBA, if you don't want to go through some course, my course of action will be joining an early product based startup, understand how product grows there, and then trying to transition into product management, right? And another one that is definitely harder to do is make your own product and scale it. And that is definitely harder to do. Like you'll have to basically make your own small micro startup to do that. But people have done that. People have made their own app where they have over 1 million monthly user, and they have got into product management. uh, Another question Anubhav asked, like, to get into entry level data analyst and business analyst role. Okay, so uh, for this kind of roles, you can do data analysis and visualization project. In Kaggle, I think there is a section which has like this kind of data that you can do visualization on. Even if you search Google for like data visualization data sets, you will find some things that are that those data sets are geared for data visualization. If you have those kind of projects in your resume, you will be able to easily get into a data analyst or business analyst role. Uh, yeah, if you have some like statistic kind of project where we are doing some analysis and showing some results, it will also be easier for you. Yeah, so that was the product management segment. Let's go on to the next one, which is SEO and SEM. So SEO and SEM is fully based on search engine. Let me tell you like where it comes into place. How many of you like go to the second page of Google? I don't I don't think like even 10% of you go to the second page of Google. So ACO and SEM, the function, the responsibility of these guys are to make sure that your product ends up on the first page of Google search. Because if you are not on the first page of Google search, you'll probably be getting very less traffic than the people who are on the first page, right? So that is the main thing. It will have to be visible in front of the users by being on the first page of Google search. So the key responsibilities of these guys will be definitely keyword research. What kind of keywords are we ranking for? So if you search for like social media, it's probably Facebook and Instagram will come up first, right? And even and then you'll have to think in terms of like what kind of product are you building, what kind of business are you building, and depending on that, you'll have to do keyword research. Like these are the keywords I want to rank for. Like if you search for let's suppose, like let me give you an example. If you are into gaming and you search like what kind of software can I chat on for gaming, or gaming chat software are the keywords, then Discord will probably come up, and that is your gaming chat because that is the first result and that will get the most visibility. So that is the kind of keyword research that we'll do. Second is optimization. Optimization is in terms of like on page, or like to make sure that if your page is on the first page of Google, it has some certain like criteria, like it has to load fast. If you're loading on mobile, it will have to be a mobile first uh, website. uh, I mean, the website should look good on mobile, and people should be able to access it fast and clean. And also, the all the content that you put in your website, it has to be easily searchable and indexable by the search engine. These are the kind of optimization that like you will be responsible for. Second is link building. Link building is basically like Google ranks you based on how many sites are referring to you. It is kind of like an authority. If 10,000 sites are referring to you, that means like that means you are someone authoritative in the space, right? You are someone that people are referring to in the space. So if you do that, that will come up higher up on the Google search result. Like I can give an example of Canva. Canva has 1.5 million like links to it from different kind of websites and even like internal links. So can by doing this 1.5 million link build, they are basically on top of search results for many keywords related to graphics design, and they have become this number one company when it comes to graphic design and URL building. So URL building is a little niche. So Google ranks URL that are descriptive. If your URL is like 3A2 or some numbers, it will not rank up. But if it is descriptive, like I said, gaming software, gaming chat software. So if your URL has those words in that, it will rank higher than other search results that are there. As an SEO or SEM, you will definitely be responsible for analytics. You will have to make sure that keywords that you are trying to rank for, what kind of results they are giving you, right? So if you are ranking for, suppose, gaming chat software, how much traffic am I getting from ranking for that keyword? And you will optimize more on that. And that is the analytical part you have to do if you're going into SEO, SEM. Mobile optimization, definitely, like you'll have to be, people are mostly accessing sites on mobile these days. So if you have worked on websites, or if you have like built any website, you will see like most of the traffic comes from mobiles, right? So you will have to make sure that it is well visible and well readable on mobile, and that it loads fast. uh, Coordinating with social media marketing team, definitely, like if you are searching for some product on some social media, it will have to be on brand, or on in line with what you are showing up on this search engines, right? uh, for paid search, if you're doing like paid search campaigns, so paid search campaigns are definitely like those where you search for like gaming chat software, and then this word comes like sponsored by Google, or this is a sponsored link. That is paid advertisement, basically. That is like people bid on those keywords and try to advertise their products. So you'll have to make sure that the investment that you put in the advertisement, you are getting maximum revenue out of it. So you are maximizing your return on investment for running SEO campaigns or SEM campaigns. Uh, and another part of SEO and SEM is PPC, is pay per click ads. So these are the ads that Google shows, and if you click on it, then it charges you. So again, you will have to like make sure you maximize the ROI for PPCs, or pay per click ads, and you'll have to track and report it back to your marketers or stakeholders who are doing this. Next thing comes is bit in the content space, like you'll have to optimize what you write in those landing pages and what you write in those website, so people are willing to buy. You can't like so when it comes to copywriting, you can't just do like, here is my product, please buy. Not like this. You'll have to sell the users of what your products will provide to them, for them to understand like, okay, if I buy this, this is the benefit I will get from this product. So your content has to be on point to make sure that you are selling the users the benefit that you want. And this is the part where optimizing copy and optimizing copywriting and landing pages come in. You will have to make better advertisement, basically, or better writing, so that people are sold on what you're trying to sell. Let's talk about some skills needed that are important for the SEO and SEM marketers. So we'll always have to be on current trend related to search engine marketing and search engine optimizations. Basically, the algorithm of Google's keep changing, right? So the sites that would be ranked higher probably 5 years before today would not be ranking higher now. So you'll have to understand how the algorithm changed and how the algorithm ranks newer content. So you'll have to be sure that you are on trend and you understand like what are the changes that are taking place on search engine. Analytics, as we discussed, you'll have to understand like what are the results of your campaigns, or what are the results of the search engine campaigns that you are running. Reporting is, again, you're reporting back to your stakeholders to make sure that you are increasing, you are having a good ROI, or return on investment, on the advertisement campaigns or search engine campaigns that you're running. A/B experiments is something like you basically run two version of ads, right? And you see like which version of ads is performing better, or which version of keywords is performing better. And that is A/B experiment, where some statistical analysis comes in. And basically it is to understand like, okay, if I run this ad and this ad is probably converting better, or giving me more return on my investment that I'm putting into the ad. And then you'll probably shift all of the marketing effort into that kind of ads. So that is the A/B experiments that we'll have to have familiarization with. And it really, really helps if you have knowledge of HTML and CSS, because you will be responsible for optimizing the pages so that it loads fast, right? And if you have this knowledge of HTML and CSS, you will be kind of able to give in that input yourself. JavaScript is definitely a plus. If you know JavaScript, you can basically build up those websites. Conversion rate optimization, as I said, like you want to maximize your return on investment. So if you're investing like X amount of rupees on an advertisement campaigns, or on a search engine marketing campaign, you want to make sure that your return is 2x or 3x. And that is where the conversion rate optimization comes in. That is where your analytics part of this process comes in. Ad copywriting, again, as I said, like you'll have to make sure that whatever you're writing, whatever the content you're putting, sells people on what your product is trying to do, or how your product can help them. If you can get all of this in orders, it is like very lucrative job as SEO SEM, because every digital business that is there now will be doing SEO and SEM at some point. So the marketing is huge, right? And key technologies for this is it will very much depend on what you are trying to achieve. So definitely some search engines Google is the biggest one. Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, things like that. You'll be doing bid management for ads, like your ads are based on like certain keywords. You'll be bidding on those to make sure like you are getting a better return on your investment. And definitely website analytics, like how people are behaving on your website, so that you can optimize it to have better conversion, to have like to sell your product faster on those, or to have people get the results that they want from those website faster. And when it comes to the salary, it starts like average beginner will start at an agency with probably like 3.5 LPA, and with 2-3 years of experience, you can scale up to like 8 LPA. If you are looking for like making your own agency, that is like way more than what this is. Like if you're looking for a full-time job, this is it. But if you're making your own agency or your own business, which are called like SEO agencies or digital marketing agencies, then they probably charge like 20K or $20,000 for a single project. So if you are interested in that, these are the kind of skills that you should look into taking up, and that these are the kind of responsibilities that you should be familiar with. If you have any questions, like put in the chat, I'll answer those. I'll take 2 or 3 questions and then move on to the next one. Okay, no questions. Technical writing. This will be very lucrative for people who are into writing, because this comes in the purview of content creation. So if you're if you are a digital business, or if you are working for some digital business, they'll be definitely writing content, because visibility on the internet or in the digital market is definitely based on content. Like what things are you posting on Instagram, what blogs are you writing. If you're not making content, being a digital business, probably your visibility of your business will go way down, that people who are making content. No, Surajit. Unless you're making a Bitcoin agency, it doesn't come under online business. So, what are the responsibilities of technical content creators? You will be basically writing like technical articles, the articles that will be probably like internal documentations or internal training docs and stuff like that, right? So you will be communicating with your technical guys or the dev team or the IT team, and you'll be taking that information and putting it in words in such a way that anyone that it is targeted for, like if it is targeted for the freshers who are coming into the company, if it is targeted for suppose a campaign that you are running, right, it has to be on point, and the people the audience that you are basically targeting it for and basically writing it for should understand those technical words in simpler terms. uh, and it can be varied depending on what you are working with. So if you're working with a bigger dev team, so IBM has a technical content writing team that writes their internal documentation, which goes to the sales team, and they go and do sales with those documentation. So IBM's customers understand what IBM is trying to sell to them by reading those documentation. So these are the kind of jobs that you can take up as technical writing. Also, like if you are other kind of digital business, you will be doing some other kind of technical writing, like you may probably be writing blogs, or even if we are a technical business that is serving directly to customers, you will be also writing things that will come within the SEO space also. So, uh, so one technical business that I can probably give you an example of is API, right? If you look into Zapier, Zapier is a technical product for business people. It basically connects one API to another one. So they write a lot of technical documentation in such a way that business people can understand that. And once again, like it can be internal or client documentation if you're working with clients. It can be with for clients if it's a product that is used internally, you'll have to write internal documentation. And if you go into this bigger organization like TCS or IBM, they are doing a lot of internal documentations, which needs huge content writing team, and have a lot of technical content writers. Creating training content is definitely one. So if newer people are coming into a company, how they will be using the technical stuff that they will be dealing with, probably like emails or whatever, emails, meetings and stuff like that. So all those training content is also a purview of uh, required to do a lot of reading. Definitely, like you'll have to go to the stakeholder team that is there, like the dev team or the IT team that is there, and you'll have to understand like what they do or what the technical product that you're building, that the company is building, does, and then you'll have to convert it in a way that people can understand, like your audience can understand, right? Let's look at some skills. Strong written communication is like a no-brainer. You'll have to be very good at written communications because your whole job is based on writing. Strong verbal communication comes in play, where you'll have to understand like what are the technical requirements you are required to write for the contents for the target audience that you are writing this content for. Good technical understanding is definitely a plus. Like if you understand like what happens in different technical strata, like if it's a technical product, you'll have to write like that. If it's a training content, you'll have to write like that. So understanding the technical field is definitely a plus. And Understanding the process in technical language is another given one, because they'll be talking to the tech team or the ID team, where they'll be probably talking in like tech terms and tech jargons, and you'll have to take it and convert it in a language that your audience, or suppose like freshers are coming in, they should be able to understand like what are the technical processes going on in simpler terms, and not in the tech jargons that IT people use. So if you look at salary, like salary in IBM or bigger companies like this, ranges in 5 LPA range in India, and it can go up to like with 3-4 years of experience up to 10 LPA. So yeah, if you're into like writing and if you're into tech, you can take these two together and make it a career out of this. One thing that I didn't mention in this is technical content writing can also be done in terms of journalism. So if you read like Hacker News or TechCrunch and stuff like that, that is like technical journalism. So they are reporting about tech as journalists. So that is also a sector, like if you are interested in journalism and if you're interested in tech, that is some sector that you can look into. Okay, some questions is there. Technical content writing has no connection with programming languages. Okay, there is no direct connection with programming languages, but if you are writing a technical documentation for suppose a programming language, so if suppose one example I can give is Go has a very good technical documentation. So if you're writing a document like that, some knowledge is definitely helpful. But other than that, if you're like in other teams, other sectors, direct programming knowledge is no issue. You just have to know how the tech that you are dealing with works, right? Then what is blogging? Blogging is basically you're writing on internet, right? Like you can have your own blog, you can have company can they have their own blog. It is a umbrella term that takes all of this together. It doesn't technical content writing is basically a very niche part of blogging whole ecosystem. So blogging is the umbrella term that covers all this. And if you're into documentation, that is not blogging. That is different content. Let's jump on to the next one. This is system admin. System admins are basically the power brokers of any tech company. So if you're in the bigger company, they will totally dictate how you handle every part of tech that goes to the company, like emails, security clearance regarding tech, and all of that. Like they will be deciding what kind of information you will have access to, what kind of administration, what kind of support activities you'll have access to, and they'll basically be responsible from your top level of tech requirement, like your computer to your printers to the whole server infrastructure of the company. So responsibility, as I said, it will handle multi-level security, like depending on what your security clearance is. They will give you access to different parts of the company. So you'll be working with like user management roles and ACLs and all of that to give different permission to different sector of users that you have. Uh, Second part is like that comes in with database access. So you'll monitor like what information is everybody in the organization accessing, and how to manage its security, right? It will be definitely be responsible for monitor and upkeep of network security, as well as the servers that, as well as the tech infrastructure that will have in the system. Second thing is user problem resolution. That user will probably open tickets, and then you'll have to go through them and understand like what problems they have. And this user resolution comes in like various form. It can be like in a bigger company. So suppose like IBM, if you're working as an associate engineer, you can open a ticket to get your like system fixed, to the point where to the point where IBM, if it is giving a service to another company, those company can open a ticket to get like whatever service IBM is giving. uh, Related to that, they will open a ticket with IBM, and sysadmin will be responsible for going to that, interacting with them, and getting those resolved. So this is very much like you'll have to interact with user teams, like internal users as well as external clients, that if the product that you're handling is responsible for that. Again, like issue resolution, you'll have to make sure like whose issue am I gonna resolve first. If it's an issue with big external clients, that definitely those are coming into priorities, and if it's an issue with internal, uh, then some delay you can expect. Backup and disaster recovery is definitely a big part of system admins. So you'll have to make sure the data that is in the organization, the client data and all of the other kind of data like financials and emails and all of that are in a form where if any kind of disaster happens, you can easily back up and roll the recovery and make sure that it is in a state where it is usable by everyone, right? uh, to some extent, they are responsible for user training also, if it's like a if it's a like internal user, or if it's even if it's external clients or enterprise client, they'll have to go and teach the user or clients how to use the infrastructure of the services they're getting. And this is definitely a plus. They will be basically responsible for what standards of software is they're using. So if you have anyone who works in like TCS, IBM, CTS, they will tell you that this is the version of software that I am required to use by my organization, and basically that's the sysadmin in the background who's doing that. They'll say like, yeah, this software, this version of software passed security clearance, and everybody in the organization will be basically using this, and they can like scale it depending on how it works. So skills needed will definitely be, you'll have to have an understanding of computer systems, like whatever the software or service levels that you are working with. If you're working with backend infrastructure, if you're working with emails, you'll have to understand that. Network is definitely plus. You'll have to make sure that every part of the service that you are giving is reachable. Software and hardware troubleshooting ties into that user resolution. You'll have to make sure that people can actually use the software and they are getting access to the software. So this is based on the ticket system. Database again comes in, where like uh, what part of the database each user have access to, and the access control levels of different data that is in the database. Web services is basically making sure that if you have some web components in your like tech stack, it is up and it is running and people can access that. Problem solving, you'll have to have a lower level problem solving because shit happens, and you'll have to make sure that users are dealing with it and clients are dealing with it in a way that is like for the betterment of your organization or your company. Strong communication skills is definitely a plus because as you can understand, people will be saying like, hey, this isn't working, and then you'll have to get it out of them what they have done or what is the problem that has occurred, and to give them a resolution. So you can definitely see where the communication skills come in. Technologies, basically this is a little low code based. You can get away with knowing basic scripting. So if you know Bash, PAL, or Python, it will help you with definitely managing all of this infrastructure. You'll definitely have to learn command line tools like grep, or find, and stuff like that. You'll definitely be using those to manage through your file system or through your infrastructure. Cloud infrastructure is definitely a plus. Like you'll have to know how things are deployed and how things are accessed on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, and all of that, and how different people or different groups of people in your organization are accessing those. Automation tool is basically for the betterment of your life as a sysadmin. So if you automate a lot of this, like ticketing system to FAQ, and how users are given new emails, or how user assigned new machines and stuff like that, that is if you can automate this, it will definitely be a plus for your life, and it will make your life easier. The salaries for sysadmins start at around like 4.5 in Indian market, and it can go up to like 15 LPA for like less than 5 years of experience, or a little more than that. Even it can go up to 17 or so if you're handling a team or managing a team of sysadmins. So yeah, so that was basically about sysadmins. Before we jump on to the next one, which is no code development, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat, and I'll take one or two of those. Okay, I guess no questions. Okay, so no code app development is basically like up and coming, and it is now getting into a very, very hot market. So no code app development is not like making your whole app in a like drag and drop fashion, but it is like making a minimal version of your product using those drag and drop products. So if you know of Bubble, so Bubble is a uh, app builder that you can basically drag and drop this different component buttons or fields that you're taking, or pictures, and it will make the whole app for you. So where does no code app development comes into play, right? No code app development basically are used by the early stage startups. They're using no code apps to make their MVPs and making sure that it has a market before going full blown with like software development, uh, like a dev team, right? And what are the like, if you look at no code app development, how is it better from traditional software development? Is like you can move faster. For a early stage startup, it basically means everything if they can like get an app to the market in like 1 week rather than like 3 months of development by a dev team. And obviously 3 months of development by a dev team will be a costlier gamble for them. So if they can get a no code app, or they can do a no code app, they can definitely get the pulse of the market faster. The faster they move, the more profitable they are, and the more easily they can gauge the market. So how no code app development works is like we'll have these technologies like Bubble, App Sheets, right? Let's go to Bubble, App Sheets, Zapier, and Webflow, and Airtable, right? It will put all of this together. Like if you're building a form, you can go to Typeform, build out a form, and put it to Airtable. So all of this data that you collect with that form comes to Airtable, and then you can do some analysis on that, or show it to the user in a good way with probably like Webflow, which is it is a website builder that is drag and drop and with very minimal like CSS code, right? And so yeah, basically the earliest startups are using this to get app built at like faster pace, and trying to get as fast to the market as possible. And what I've seen from like founders of earliest startups, this one guy told me like he got an app developed in 2 days where he paid like $450. And I also did some like market research, and saw like on Fiverr and other freelance agencies that the product development cost are like same. Even like one no code app development agency told me like they charge $12,000 for like 2 weeks of work, right? So and yeah, so that there's a lot of money in it, and since there is a lot of the startup market is like booming in India, there are definitely a lot of people that is looking into no code app developers and no code app agencies to get their earlier product built. And I know of this one guy who wrote in his like blog, he's a founder who is doing like $600,000 of business per year based on a no code app, right? So the thing about no code is like it is not very lucrative as a full time job right now. Like there is no company offering a full time job for no code. There are agencies for that, or you can freelance in this sector, and your customers will be basically these earlier stage startups and earlier stage product developers. So if you are into app development, if you like app development where you want to where you want to do apps but don't want to write too much code, if that is something that you are very interested in, you can definitely look into no code app development. And as I said, your customer segment will be this earliest stage startups that are trying to get as fast to the market as possible. Okay, that was the end of no code app. If you have any questions about no code app, you can write in the chat and I'll take one of the questions.
Yeah, so yeah, you all can drop your queries in the YouTube chat so that we'll try to resolve them. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to Suvojit Bhaiya. And Suvojit Bhaiya can also share his LinkedIn or Twitter, and you can also DM him. Yeah, I think we got
Yeah, there
one more.
is one question. Can you make game too? Like, what is FF?
Free Fire, I think.
I don't think you can make like full 3D games, but maybe some 2D games. I don't know. Yeah, there is some drag and drop games that are there. But basically, most of what I've seen is like this code apps. Like they're making social media apps with this no code apps, or apps that take in information from businesses and showing it in some other form to other businesses and stuff like that. Someone even made like a Google Meet alternative for using just no code. So if some startup is doing that, they can definitely look into that. Uh,
We have one more question.
okay, can we access real-time data by using no code? Yeah, you can definitely do real-time app using no code. Like I've seen Typeform Zapier and Airtable, I think, at once, which is doing like real-time a kind of social media app that was working in real time. Yeah.
Great. So one more major announcement is that we are going to start our Flutter Festival. That means we have already explored the Google Cloud, Android, and some other technical things. So now we are going to start our Flutter journey. That means you are going to learn how to build a complete application. That means hybrid application, cross-platform application using Flutter. So basically, Flutter is a UI toolkit made by Google. So uh, the complete Flutter festival we are going to do in offline mode. So you need to attend. You need to attend the classes which we are going to do in college in your college. So definitely make sure to participate. And obviously there will be some hidden surprise. That means maybe some swags and some assignments. And we are going to also build few projects on Flutter. So yeah, and if you are really excited to learn Flutter, then this is the golden opportunity for all of you. That means you are going to start your Flutter journey. Okay, so I think we got one more question. Dada, can you please explain again what things I need to know for technical content writer?
Okay, so basically for technical content writer, you will have to know in the tech space that you're working in. So if you're working for a tech B2B company, so the companies that are providing, suppose, technical support or technical APIs to other companies, will have to know how those APIs work, or how like what kind of benefits those API provides to the other businesses that they are serving to, like the other customers they're serving to. If you are writing technical content for, suppose, an internal organization or internal content, or you're making training documents, you'll have to know specifically those technical parts of the tech stack. So internal training document, definitely, like let me give an example. IBM does internal training documents for their cloud access point, or the terminal that engineers get when they join IBM. So those kind of technical content, if you're joining like IBM and writing technical content for their internal teams, you'll be doing those kind of technical content, and you'll be required to go and talk to their technical team, understand what are the nuances of their technical product, and like write about it. And definitely, like if you have some other questions, I think he gave the link for my LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have already posted the LinkedIn.
yeah, you
So
can
if you
definitely go and ping me up anything. I'll take one last question from Himanshu. How to start no code? Is anything needed to know before starting no code journey? No code, basically you will have to like look into what the no code app builders are like told, right? Let me go back. Uh, these are some of the very popular ones like Bubble, Zapier. Zapier is for business automation. AppSheet is for like taking things of the database and making reports. Webflow is basically you can create whole websites with no code. Airtable is a database that you can use and build apps on top of that. Right? If you have some like data intensive applications, and then Airtables are for that. So depending on what part of the what kind of product you're building, and it will depend like what you need to know. And it's basically like click and drag and drop. So you don't need to know like what kind of journey you are taking. Some design knowledge may be useful, but other than that, like no code necessary whatsoever, because that's in the name.
Yeah, so it was extremely insightful session for all of us because generally when we just enter our college, we know one thing that means we need to code and we need to get one SD role. So there are few more other things than SD roles. So you should definitely check them out if you don't like to code. So yeah, I think if you have any doubts again, you can ping Shobhajit Bhaiya and he can explain everything. So, yeah, I think that's it for today, and hope you all have enjoyed today's session and you have also learned few important things. So, see you all in college and all the best. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Nila. Bye.